Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children 18 plus. You are tuned in to the Loan Officer Podcast with me, Dustin Owen, and my main man,
JC.
JC. What's going on, man?
What's up, bro?
How come every time that you do this, you do the JC, you sound more and more like a cartoon character?
I got to articulate it, switch it up for the listeners.
Is that what it is? And here I
Yes.
am. I'm trying to keep the same exact cadence.
JC.
Yeah, I don't know if I like that one.
Okay.
I mean, if you like it, fine.
Nice. It's not about me. It's about the listeners, Dustin.
Well, you know what? We'll let the listeners vote.
Yeah.
One day, you and Dennis will get this stupid website. It's not even stupid. It's a great website.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's a great
Watch the
website. You'll
adjectives.
finally get it launched.
Yes.
Which, hey, by the way, wink, wink, nod, nod. By the time you are listening to this,
Mm-hmm.
TLOPonline.com should be launched, like full scale.
Yeah, full scale.
Launched.
Yep.
All of the videos, all of the edits, all of the links, all of the bios, everything
BIOS was a heavy lift.
mapped out. Was that a heavy lift?
Massive.
Luckily, that's something that now it's about maintenance.
Yeah, now
And
once you have it built, yeah.
Yeah, it was one large project.
yeah.
But yeah, so the website is TLOP Online. TLOP because our fans, if by the way you're tuning in for the first time, thank you. Our fans affectionately call us TLOP. TLOP stands for the Loan Officer Podcast.
Yep.
Or if you really just want to go old school, you can go ahead and type in
TheLoanOfficerPodcast.com.
Yep, that one works too.
Yep.
So by the time you're listening to this, the website will be launched. And by the time we have a website launched, maybe people can vote. Do they like you with the cartoon voice?
Okay.
Or do they like you just being that baritone John Coleman?
You know what? I think that's a great idea and topic for the message board.
Yes.
For, the online community to talk about.
Yes, and TLOP Online is going to have an online
What do you
community
know?
capability, and it
Right.
will have a message board. Great plug there, John Coleman.
It's my first. Because you know what today's episode is all about?
What is it?
Marketing.
It is. It's about marketing for mortgage professionals.
Right.
And what we want to do is shout out to Alexis.
Okay, shout out Alexis.
Okay, Alexis hits us up on IG.
Yep.
Right, and by the way, Alexis is Brit-ish.
British.
Yeah, I kind of like that in her profile. She claims that she's Brit-ish. Like I could kind of be like I'm Welsh-ish.
Right.
Like because Owen is the second most popular surname in Wales. I joke with people.
There you go.
The most famous Welshman is a guy by the name of Tom Jones. If you don't know who Tom Jones is, don't worry about it. Your grandmother does, or maybe your mother does.
Okay.
Right, because he was like this crooner singer songwriter out of Wales
okay.
who had popular hits in the U.S.
Okay.
Then there's Dustin Owen.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
But I'm not Welsh-ish the way that I think that Alexis is British. I'm assuming if she says she's British, maybe one of her parents was from the island,
Right.
or maybe she was born over there.
Maybe.
Who knows? I haven't had a chance to interact with her over the phone to hear her dialect to
Right.
see if she speaks with a North American accent or a British accent.
Right. Well, we have to thank Alexis for this episode.
Yeah, so she had hit us up and she's like, "Hey, can you kind of cover?" And I'm gonna butcher her exact words. I could have wrote it down, but we pride ourselves on not
watch your
writing
mouth
anything down.
on that
Yes.
planning. Watch your mouth.
We do pride ourselves on not writing anything down or really preparing.
No.
We do have a live audience member
Oh,
today.
word,
yeah, my
yeah.
niece Sierra is here.
Can you give us a clap?
Yeah.
There we go.
There
So
we
see,
go.
hands
Yeah.
free. That's a real person. Yeah.
My niece is 25, and she and her friend are thinking about starting their own podcast. She's like, "Hey, can I come by and watch you and JC do your thing?" I'm like, "Of course."
Yeah.
What she doesn't know is I'm gonna try to convince her
Uh-oh.
to stay, and we're gonna do a second episode. We'll
Yes.
launch it a couple days after this one launches, and it's basically gonna be like 25 minutes with a 25-year-old.
That sounds amazing.
How cool would that be? Like if you're an entrepreneur, a business owner, a service provider, she is on the back end of the millennial generation.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure she represents her people pretty well.
Yeah.
And by her people, I mean 25-year-olds.
Correct.
I bet she can give us great insight and knowledge
Right.
to their thought processes and their buying habits and their patterns and how they like to be communicated to so that we can start preparing
Yep.
on how to serve our next greatest generation.
There you go.
But in the interim, we're going to circle back to Alexis.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about her request of, can you talk about marketing for an individual loan officer versus a marketing for a branch?
Okay.
My easy answer, John.
Okay.
Take a guess. What do you think my just quick one sentence answer?
Focus on lead generation.
That's a good guess.
That's all.
That's a good
If it
guess.
doesn't-
No, to her specific question of, I think she was angling, do you market differently as a loan officer
Right.
as you do a branch? It's like, no.
It's the same.
The same thing you're doing for one, you can do for 21. And your thought process should be that. So what I'll do is I'll start with, how do you market on behalf of a branch? And then how do you market on behalf of one?
Oh, okay.
And then we also have to discuss, well, what does marketing, that's a broad term. Like, what does marketing mean? Are we talking about brand recognition? Or are we talking like some kind of a call to action? Because as a, by the way, former advertising major,
There you go.
who spent a couple years in the television advertising industry, I know a thing or two about branding versus call to action, right? Because if I'm Honda, I may run an ad where it's all about pretty. It's all about being fancy or new, or it's the image of the car, that Honda Pilot traversing through some really pretty mountainous, windy road,
Some road you can
with the
never
sun
find. Yeah,
setting,
that doesn't
and,
exist. Yeah.
and all that makes me do is feel warm and fuzzy about what I'm seeing on TV, and I try to take that emotion and I tie it to the brand, the Honda brand, right? Okay, so that's a brand awareness.
It's a brand
type.
play.
Yes, it's a brand play. There you go. Or I could be the local Coggin Honda dealer.
Come in today.
Come in today, 0% down, 0% APR for 36 months while supplies last.
We'll buy your trade-in off the cement bricks. It doesn't matter.
And right now they will.
Yeah.
Right now, and they'll pay you top dollar for
Right.
it, because finding any type of vehicle,
Right.
let alone, one that actually works, is very difficult to do. So, you have to ask yourself, well, if you're in the marketing department or you're in the marketing game, well, what are you marketing for? Because if you're just doing branding, then how do you factor in an ROI? It's very difficult in this industry based on my experiences of trying to determine an ROI. Or if you're doing direct response type, buy now, call now, then that's a lot easier to tie to ROI, but that may impact your overall brand. Because I don't think many of us want to come across as a used car salesperson. But back to Alexis's very first question, which is like, how do you do one and do the other? I think it's all one and the same. So here are things that I think mortgage professionals, whether you do it at the branch level or you do it at the loan officer level, we all should be doing. We have to be able to network within our communities. And I think our community starts with those who sell homes for a living. So we need to be able to network with realtors and builders. Well, that means we need to be going to the same places that those people go to. So if those people have a certain trade organization like the Orlando Real Estate Association, then I need to be a member. And not just be a member, because being a member and not showing up to their events is you being a member to LA Fitness, but I never see you in the gym, John.
Yep.
It does not do you any good to have a membership to LA Fitness.
Right. I be in the gym now.
Do you?
Oh, yeah, we just go at different times, different locations. You like the Oviedo location, man. Too many teeny boppers in there.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm thinking about switching over to Crunch Fitness, honestly, once it gets open. But
Yeah.
that's for a whole nother
Another episode,
conversation.
yeah.
Okay, so now I got off track. You got me talking. No, I was talking about you have to join the organization.
join it.
But then you have to attend. You have to attend. Now, whether you're an individual loan officer or whether you are a branch, those are things that are similar. Individual loan officers should be encouraged to go to those events. Women's Council of Realtors, right? Regional builder associations. I need to go and be a part of the organizations that the people that I want to interact with and do business with are also going to. I do that as an individual LO, and I also do it as a branch. Now, as a branch, my philosophy is I'm going to go in as a branch and do it as long as a group of my loan officers can benefit. That's a rule that my two partners, David, Mike, and I have always implemented when it comes to, well, who pays for this? Well, it depends. If it's good for you, you pay for it, John, the loan officer.
Right.
But if it can be good for you and 4 or 5 of your colleagues, then no, we as the branch should pay for it. But you have to understand that the branch is paying for it. And let's say it's an event that it only will accept 4 or 5 or 2 or 3 participants from our branch. We're going to have to do some kind of a round robin, merit-based selection of who gets to go to that event. In your market, you should check out if there is a Real Producers in your market. Real Producers is a magazine that is put together to be distributed amongst the real estate communities. There's a guy in Orlando by the name of Aaron Luden who's a rock star within Real Producers. Aaron throws some of the best events for some of the top realtors in the entire market.
Yeah.
No one does a better event than Aaron. His magazine is Real Producers. So as a branch, I need to be involved in whatever Aaron's involved in because he's hanging out with the same people I want to hang out with. As a loan officer, if my branch isn't involved, then I need to find a way to get involved, or better yet, get my branch involved. And then I need to attend the events because the events is when I'm going to be able to network the most.
Yeah.
So again, my first thing is get involved, both at the branch level as well as at the individual level.
Mm-hmm.
If you're signing your branch up, don't just sign your branch up and pay your fee. You now have to get your people there.
Yeah.
If you're signing up yourself to go there, go there. All the different golf tournaments, sponsor a hole, make your hole fun.
Yeah.
That's a really fun one. We do one, and this was like, it's always fun to look back on anyone's like the early years, because the early years are always the fun years.
Right.
Now, the early years aren't necessarily the years that you're making a ton of money,
Yeah.
and they're definitely not the stress-free years, and they're probably the years that you work the most. But looking back, the nostalgia about the early years. So in the early years, Smalley and I used to sponsor any type of golf tournament that was going on within our industry. And we never wanted to golf. Like, he and I are both hacks when it comes to getting out in the golf course. Trust me, I would love to be your fourth if you're putting together a golf scramble and I get to come for free, show up, hang out with you, listen to music, do some shots on hole 3, drink some beer on hole 5. Sure. But if I'm going to be a paying person to go there, the highest and best use of my time isn't golfing. The highest and best use of my time is spending the $150 to sponsor a hole and then manning that hole so that when people come by, all those golfers have to come by my hole. They want to come and introduce themselves to me. Right? I can do that as an individual LO or I can do it as a branch. Right? They both go, but if I can get my branch to do it, then I can get my branch to pay for it.
Yep.
That means if my branch is paying for it, it's not going to just benefit me. It's going to benefit me and probably 2 or 3 other LOs within my branch. So when you do a whole sponsorship, make sure it's fun as shit. Like super fun. So what we did is we called it the Waterstone Challenge. We always picked a par 3. We would call the organizers, say, hey, can we have a par 3? Sure, you can have a par 3. We would come equipped with probably $200 cash. Usually it was like 5 20s and 1 C note, right? One Franklin. And what we would do is we say, John, this is a par 3, but I'm going to give you an opportunity to win money.
Okay.
We're like, all right, well, tell me about it, right?
Tell me.
Yeah.
Tell
All right, well, if you will shotgun this beer, and I give you 5 seconds to address your ball, and then you put the ball in the green, you win $20. If you're not a drinker, John, I get that, right? We have friends of ours that are teetotalers. We're cool with that. Yeah, maybe it's sober October, totally fine. But I want you to do 10 twirly birds around your pitch and wedge or whatever club that you're using. And then again, I'll give you 5 seconds to address the ball. And if you put it on the green, you win $20.
Nice.
Hey, John, if you really want to go for the gusto, I have a way for you to win 100.
Let's go.
All right. I want you to shotgun a beer.
Okay.
I want you to do 10 twirly birds.
And
5 seconds to address your ball, put it on the green, you win $100.
what?
And they're like, yeah, but how much is it to play? I go, it's free to play.
What do you mean?
It's free.
Did
Your entry fee is my enjoyment. It's my entertainment. It's watching you do the 10 twirly
My
birds and shotgun
follow-up
the
question, has anyone put it on the green, and has anyone won the C note?
beer. Yes and yes.
Word.
Yep. Typically, you'll be at about $140. Typically.
Okay.
It's one C note. You always have that one drunk who is also a scratch golfer
Yeah.
who's probably showed up in board shorts and flip-flops.
I'm like, oh, yeah.
Hey, Brian Nielsen, I'm talking about you. And they will put the ball on the
Right.
green after. Yeah, and they're probably already 6 drinks into the morning.
Right. They're
Like
loosened
3
up.
Bloody
Yeah,
Marys,
yeah,
a
they're ready
vodka
to go.
shot, a JMO shot. They're good.
Okay.
So yeah, but it's fun. You become memorable.
Right.
So like that's something from a marketing standpoint that I think is like people should
Yeah.
be doing. Like, look, our job, and we talk about this all the time on this podcast, and you even mentioned it. You need to go out there and generate leads. Like, and anytime someone's talking about marketing, my next question to them is, how is this going to generate leads? Because if you can't tell me how your marketing is going to generate leads, I don't want to hear about it.
That's a good dovetail to my next question. What are some pitfalls, marketing pitfalls that you've seen over your career where it's like, do not invest time in doing this, i.e. mailers, or do not try to fall for this trap because you won't see the ROI with it?
Flyers, flyers, flyers. Flyers do not bring you business. Now, you need to have flyers because you need to have a leave behind. You need to have something that's pretty, it's professional, and I can leave it behind. I'm not going to do business with you because I brought you flyers. It doesn't matter if the flyers 100% resonate the message I wanted to say, or if it kind of hits it. I need the flyer as something that I can leave with you that has my brand and my contact info on it, and I didn't show up to our party empty-handed.
Right.
So flyers would be my first go-to. People getting real crazy and creative with their social media posts. look, I understand that you have to have a social media presence. I understand when people cross-check me. By cross-check, it's like, hey, you were referred to me by my ex-best friend's uncle, and I don't really know you, but I went on IG or I went on Facebook and I found some information on you. Cool. When that happens, you need to be able to see me and see that I'm professional. But please know, no one's doing business with you because of your pretty IG post. Now, people will do business with you if you have 10,000 followers on Instagram, or you have 5,000 friends on Facebook, and every day you're acting yourself and you're not hiding from what you do for a living and what you can do to bring value to them. But even that, we've talked about this before, you follow the cadence of 3 to 1. For every 3 personal posts, it's 1 business. And your business post better not be you vomiting on me, right? It better not be you saying, my interest rates are this cheap, or you know, this product is amazing. No. Like, talk about the first-time home buyer that you just helped close on their first house, or talk about the person that you just helped by lowering their overall bills by $2,000 a month because you did a debt consolidation loan. Talk about how you just earned Rookie of the Year, right? Remind me what you do for a living, but do so in a non-used car salesperson way.
Yeah.
And please, if I log onto your IG or your Facebook and it's nothing but business.
All day.
No, it's like the only thing worse than that is you posting incessantly about your political beliefs. Like, if you want to do that, cool. Like, it's for the most part a free country. You can do that, but I can also freely unfollow you. I can freely quit seeing what you want to put up there. And if you want to do that, that's fantastic too. But just know that you're probably not going to be able to utilize your social media post or your social media to elicit leads. To the extent that someone who stays more neutral could. So that would be like anyone getting into this industry. 3 things you're like, hey, we're the big time wasters. It's going to be in flyers. It's going to be in like agonizing over what the social media post is. No. And it's also then doing it wrong. Right. So like, you need to have flyers, but it doesn't matter really which ones. Just have some that represent you. And you probably only need 5, and most mortgage companies have like 500. So go on their library, find the 5 that you like the most, and then have them ready to go at all times. So that would be that. Let's talk about other ways that people, I mean, you work with loan officers on the day in, day out. How do you see loan officers marketing themselves? What are some of the things that you're helping them do?
Well, a lot. Videos is really a big thing now. So I'll help them create different types of videos. So what we call market updates. That, for example, when the FHA loan limit went up. Did I say that right? The FHA,
Yes.
The FHA loan limit went up. It was a big topic, a big buzz around the industry. So I got with various loan officers, and we just made like a quick 45-second video talking about, like, hey, this is what you can do with the loan limits. This is happening. This is what it means for you. Give me a call if you're interested in discussing any further. And that, we sent that out. I edited it. We sent it out to their database. It worked great. Another example was recently Aaron Duba, what we did with, what did he do?
Yeah, he did a whiteboard.
He did a whiteboard. So it was just an idea. He was like, I want to convey how I was able to help a homeowner with a debt consolidation, but I don't really want the video to be like super polished, super fancy. I really want it to be kind of nitty gritty because honestly, that's another thing. You want a good content mix. You don't want everything to come from your cell phone, but you also don't want everything to look like it came from Steven Spielberg. You want to have a good mix so people can relate to it. So we just did a quick video. He wrote kind of the client's past bills and then what his monthly payment was, and then afterwards what he cashed out, and then basically what his new payment was, and it was like saved him $1,000 a month. So it's like life changing.
Yeah, because this guy bought his house 4 years ago. He bought it for $250,000. Today it's worth $375,000. Yep. He had a bunch of credit card debt. He maybe had some student loans, maybe had a car payment, and he took out enough cash to pay all of that off. And his mortgage payment went up $200 a month, but he saved $2,200.
Right.
So his net savings was $2,000. Yeah, like that's something an individual loan officer can do. If you have an iPhone or you have a Droid, you can create a video and you can blast it out. Doing something is always better than doing nothing.
Right.
And then who do you blast it out to? You blast it out to your past client database. If you don't have a past client database or a database altogether, you need to go back and watch that episode that we did last, because we talked about the importance of having a database and then also a CRM to help you manage that database.
Right.
If you're a branch, you know what you can do? You can hire a John Coleman. Now, don't hire my John Coleman, because look, He is so invested in tloponline.com and the Loan Officer podcast that quite honestly, Waterstone should be a little bit worried that they're going to lose John Coleman.
Dun, dun, dun.
But Waterstone is not going to ever be able to lose John Coleman until John Coleman finds and replaces himself. Because although it might not be John Coleman fulfilling that role in the future, it very well needs to be somebody, right? If you have enough loan officers, you should have someone whose background is in content creation, who knows how to work a camera, who knows how to work editing software. And although they might not know a whole lot about mortgages, I promise you they'll pick up a lot after 2 years.
After 2 years, absolutely.
And then, so that's a way, Alexis, that you as a branch or a branch manager, you could look at it. And if your branch isn't large enough, could your region afford that? Like, could your region afford, depending on how many branches you have within let's just say a 2-hour drive, right? Because especially if we're living in a non-COVID world, it'd be no big deal for you to hop in the car at 8 a.m., get somewhere at 10, stay there till 3, and then drive home.
Yeah, well, I just worked with Troy Holmes, who's the returning loan officer that we had, and he's building a relationship with a realtor, and she wanted some new headshots. So I think the other day, we went down to Lake Eola. They did some group shots together, and while we were there, I was like, yeah, sure, I'll grab some extra headshots with you. And that's just a value add that loan officers can give to their loan, their partners, their referral partners, as like, hey, don't worry about if you want a headshot, you want a quick video, I have an in-house guy that'd be willing to do it for you free of charge.
Yep. So there you go. There is a marketing idea that can be done on the individual, right? An individual can go out and hire someone like yourself and pay an exorbitant amount of money, but get some one-off piecework, or the branch or the region could just bring someone in and hire them as an employee full-time to support the loan officers, because we all know that we should be utilizing video messaging when we market to our database.
Right.
Okay. We speak about CRMs, right? So as a loan officer, I need to have a database. I need to have a CRM. As a branch, you need to make sure every single one of your loan officers has a database and a CRM. And I'm going to go one step further. Spend the money on a database administrator, because your loan officers are not going to be consistently logging in and working their CRM the way that they need to be. The only way they would be if you work in an environment where you supply them the lead, at which point, because you control the lead, you have the power, you have the money, you can dictate how they do their job, and if they don't, they're out. But for loan officers who are more like the loan officer that I was or that I teach people to be, you're a solopreneur. So you're 100% commission sales. Your job is to go out and procure the lead yourself. I'm going to promise you, if you talk to the Dustin Owen 10, 15 years ago, that dude is still high energy. He still really loves personal finance and he knows mortgages. He is not logging into a CRM. He is not consistently maintaining his database so that he can market to it. Loan officers should be doing that. We coach them and teach them, but there's also a reason why the branches that I help manage, we actually have a person or persons on staff who do it on the loan officer's behalf. But understand that database and CRM, that is a huge marketing lift that just has to be done. It can't be half-assed and it can't be shortchanged. Finally, because I know we're getting long on time. Things like lunch and learns, things like happy hours, things like client appreciation events. Alexis, they go both ways. You as an individual loan officer should be doing some kind of a client appreciation event. If there's nothing but your clients being invited, you pay for it. You should be doing happy hours for some of your better referral sources. If it's something that you pay for, or there's something that only benefits you, you pay for it. You should be teaching lunch and learns. And by the way, on the happy hours, you very well could be partnering with a title company or a homeowners insurance company or a realtor in your local market, and you all could be working together and sharing the cost of said happy hour.
Yep.
Lunch and learns work the same exact way. Grab a title company, and you and the title company put on a lunch and learn. That way you can split the cost, and also you can share resources. The title company invites their preferred realtor partners. You invite yours. You bring value in terms of education. But if I'm running a branch, why can't I put on a mega one, and then I can go ahead and let all of my loan officers invite realtors or builders or referral sources, right? It can be done the same. All I'm doing is scaling it up. Whether I do it for one or I do it for 12, it's just an economies of scale thing, but I'll get more bang for my buck. And I promise you, branch managers, there are definitely loan officers out there that they really should be doing happy hours and lunch and learns, but they don't Maybe because they're scared. Maybe because they've never done one before.
Mhm.
Like they haven't grasped the concept of doing something at 60% is better than doing nothing at 100%.
Yeah.
You know, like you're going to suck at first. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like go back and listen to our first 30 or 40 podcast episodes. They were pretty bad as compared to hopefully the last 30 or 40.
Mm-hmm.
That's just life.
Yeah, but that's a big thing. You got to start. We had to start somewhere.
Yeah, you had to start somewhere. So this is, in a nutshell, this is marketing for mortgage professionals. The key with any marketing, this is how important it is. I'm going to talk about this yet again because I can't stress it enough. The key is it damn well better drive leads. Does this make my phone ring? Question mark, period, exclamation point. Like it needs to. If it's not making the phone ring, and then you have to look at what is ROI or how much juice are you getting out of that squeeze. I mean, if it's a massive lift, in terms of massive lift, like how many hours am I putting into this? How many hours am I asking my support staff to put into this? And then what's the outcome I'm trying to derive? Now, if the outcome is 100 leads and under those 100 leads will turn into 20 pre-quals, and those 20 pre-quals will end up into 4 closings, I can now monetize. Well, 4 closings are worth $10,000 in commission to me, and 4 closings are worth $4,000 of profit to my branch. Mm-hmm. Okay, then are you getting good ROI for your time and your resources? Or it may just be, hey, look, I need to do this event because this event's going to introduce me to 100 realtors. Okay, great. But if all you do is go to the event and 100 realtors see your signage, or they hear you stand on stage and give your 90-second elevator pitch, dude, you wasted a ton of time. You wasted a ton of money. You go to those events so that you have access to those 100 realtors. The real work happens after the event ends. You go back to the office. You spend the next 2 weeks picking up the damn phone to either text, if that's what you're into, or call those realtors to schedule one-on-ones to get belly to belly, face to face, so you can start working on building a relationship. I think that right there, that is where so many people in business fail when it comes to marketing. The marketing brings them the exposure, it brings them the access, but then they don't have any type of action plan to make it worth their time. So it's one thing that I drove 2 hours to the event, I spent all day there, and I drove 2 hours home. I picked up 7 business cards, but what did I do with those 7 business cards?
Oh, no, I thought they just by themselves turned into apps and prequels.
Nope. That's just the beginning. That's just the beginning. Yep, that would be like, I don't know, someone going ahead and downloading Tinder on their phone and then waiting for the phone to ring. Yeah. It's like, well, I got the Tinder.
Yeah.
That doesn't work that way. Homie, you better swipe right and swipe left like for hours.
Right.
For hours. Like it takes a little bit of work, a little bit of effort, but if you keep at it, you'll get the results that you intended.
Well said.
Yeah, that's everything. So in Alexis, those events, an individual loan officer can do it or the entire branch can do it. Like it's everything I talked about, whether it's the golf events, whether it's the industry functions, whether it's the happy hours, the lunch and learns, videographer, utilizing video, CRM, database. If it's good for one, it's good for all. I think the big thing to understand is if it's good for one should pay. If it's good for all, the branch should pay. I'm sure this particular episode's going to open up a positive Pandora's box. This is a Pandora's box we want opened. Hopefully it's going to elicit a lot of thoughts, maybe some comments, some responses. We'd love to hear from you. YouTube's probably the best way. If you go to the Loan Officer Podcast channel on YouTube, you can subscribe if you haven't done so already, but we can also comment on various episodes. We love your comments. We do our best to respond. Sometimes JC beats me to the punch and responds a little bit too early. If I find that and I have more to add, I slide in behind him. Sometimes JC looks at one of the comments and says, hey, Dio, can you go ahead and give me the answer so I can respond? No. Most times he responds. I'm like, yeah, I loved your response. Great job. But we do respond. I think that's what's important. Now, if you're listening on Spotify, on Apple, on Google Play, or anywhere that you find podcasts, the best way to probably reach out to us is me individually on LinkedIn. Just go ahead. If we're not connected already, which, look, I have like 12,000, almost 13,000 connections.
Swaggy.
There's a good chance we are connected. But if we aren't connected yet, go ahead and send me a connection. I will accept it. And then we can respond there. And I would love your questions and your commentary one-on-one.
Word.
But please be sure that you're continuing to like us, share us, give us 5-star reviews, give us thumbs up. We love to hear from you. And literally check out tloponline.com or theloanofficerpodcast.com. Let us know what you think. That too is going to be interactive. It's an ever-growing beast of a website. This is phase 1. By the time we get to 2024, we'll probably be in phase 13.
Yeah.
But he's John Coleman. I'm Dustin Owen, and that is all the time we have for you today, but we will catch you in the next episode. Peace.